A super increase will cost us all wages. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, top it up, and let's have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing, well, the super increase that we're going to receive. Well, that employees will receive, and more of their wages will be forced into the control by union-dominated and banking sector-dominated super funds. Isn't that fantastic? You dumb plebs, all of us, we can't manage our own money. Sure, some can't. But, we'll give more of it away to other people to manage for you. Pat you on the head, do as you're told. Good little pleb. Good little pleb. I mean, I'm getting frustrated with it. Okay, we've seen the articles about people spending their super money on boob jobs. We've seen the article about people spending their super money on or gambling or pissing it away. But we've also seen articles of people using it to buy a home. We've seen articles of people using it to get rid of their debt and get a burden off their back. It is their money. Now, if you're paid above the award and all of a sudden the super that has to go in is now 12.5%, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think your boss is going to give you a pay rise for no reason? Because that's what it is. It is your burden to the person you work for includes your super. Most people don't see it or appreciate it, but it does. So what they'll say, oh, sorry, your pay's down every week because more money has to get diverted to superannuation. If you don't like it, complain to the government. Sorry, I can't afford to absorb that wage increase during tough times, during a recession, the first recession we've had in nearly 30 years. How often do you think those conversations are going to appear? Let me know in the comments, everyone. And don't even bother with the idiots going, it's not the employee's money, it's a co-contribution from the boss, blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on, I can't believe I'm hearing that stuff. That just shows people who've never actually employed anyone. That's just what you're saying there. You're saying you've got very limited experience to make your arguments. It's that simple, So Grattan Institute. Increases to superannuation contributions will come at the expense of wage growth. I think it'll actually, I would argue that it'll actually not just hit wage growth, because that's what they'll do. They just won't give people pay rises, because they don't want to create a negative situation with their employees. But if you're stuck, you're going to have the conversation going, guys, I'm paying you less now. That's what has to happen, doesn't it? So every Aussie worker is legislated to get paid more in super over the coming years. Sounds good, right? It turns out you'll actually have to pay for it. Well, yeah, this is the thing. Superannuation is a part of your wage that is forced in control of other parties. That sure, you can start a self-managed super fund, but you can't buy a house and live in it in your self-managed super fund, can you? I actually know someone that did that. A colleague from university. What happened is their parents had a self-managed super fund. She moved into it, and she had a roommate, so it was under the roommate's name, and that's how they got around it. So, little fraudulent there, but can you blame people for finding ways to try and get a house? This is the thing. I'm frustrated that we're so house obsessed here, home property obsessed here in Australia, but it's so hard for people just to get a home over their head. And this is another noose around your neck. 10%, going up to 12% roughly of your pay put in the control of other parties. A Melbourne-based think tank says the planned increase in compulsory superannuation contributions will come at the expense of future wage growth, exacerbating the economic shock caused by the pandemic. And I will take this opportunity to bring up, no, I can't. My wage growth chart has disappeared. Oh, come on. This is my favorite one. You know what? I have to get it working now. So bear with me while a moment. Wage growth. Because I've got this one on mugs, everyone. I've got it on mugs. I've got it on coffee cups. This is a fantastic little graph that just shows the RBA. My server's booting up. That shows the RBA's future predictions for wage growth and how they've failed again and again. Oh, you're kidding. That's the wrong one. It's all good, guys. It's all good. I'm going to leave. I'll cut this out. I'm sure I'll cut it out. And I'll be more, efficient and organized. Everything here. There it is. So this shows just RBA wage growth projections and how they've failed again and again and again. I've noticed a few people have bought the Heise mugs from Teespring. That's the easiest way to get them manufactured right now, guys. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to find... Well, the only way I can get it manufactured would be to get it Alibaba and sent over. Because I may have to do that, everyone. Maybe at least cut out the American middleman. But back to this, it shows you just... It's, their forecasts of 2011 failed, 2012 failed, 2013 failed, 14, 15, 16, 17 failed. I have to check. I don't even know if they're making any anymore. I'll have to have a look. Maybe update the graph. But they're our central planners, guys. They're managing the economy. Fine-tuned machine. The Grattan Institute report shows the early release of superannuation is not a valid reason for contributions paid by employers to increase from 9.5% to 12%. Superannuation guarantee benefits are legislated to increase incrementally to 12% over the next 5 years. A large group within the superannuation industry argue the increase must go ahead as planned to recoup losses incurred from members withdrawing money through the pandemic hardship payments. Yeah, because it's going to be their losses. They're not going to be able to generate as much revenue from managing your money for you. That's how they make their money, guys. Think about this. This is... What a caper is this? Every worker in the nation is forced to give away a portion of their money to these bodies that they can control. They can control and manage it for you and skim fees off the top. What's the risk? There's hardly any competition there. Most people don't give a damn aren't paying attention to their super fund. Then they add all these other things like insurances and stuff that some people even have a nightmare accessing. So it's more fees they take off you. Remember when you were forced to use particular super funds? Remember when that existed? You couldn't even jump around? There's still some people that are locked into them. So Grattan's household finances director, Brendan Coates, said modelling showed the increase in contributions would not boost retirement incomes, but come at the expense of wage growth. Well, actually, there's another thing. There's some super funds where they pay money in and they get a guaranteed payment out of it. Like some of the civil service ones. It is such a rot. It is such a rot. Even if their super has done terribly, they still get this guaranteed payment. It's just bullshit. It really is. Completely unfair. This is, a boomer legacy that some of them are getting that have been in the public service, so they've had job security for their whole life. Then they get this crazy super with co-contributions and probably bonus contributions. It's a rot, guys. It really is, And then they're telling you to save... don't have your smashed AV when you buy your house that's 9 times your pay. Anyway. That's how life is. You just have to... You can gripe and moan about the challenges, but you need to overcome them. So while employers might hand over the check for compulsory super, workers ultimately pay for almost all of it through lower wages, he said. Our work showed that around 80% of the cost of super comes via low wages within 2 to 3 years. The long-term impact could be as high as 100%. Mr. Coates also noted raising compulsory super to 12% would cost the federal budget close to $2 billion per year in extra super tax breaks, which would largely only benefit wealthier Australian workers. Grattan said workers who had withdrawn funds through the scheme would have lower retirement incomes and the government would bear the burden of the cost via the age pension. However, even a 9.5% ongoing superannuation contribution would be able to recoup the majority of money withdrawn, even if a worker is unemployed for the next 2 to 3 years. Retirement incomes will fall for workers who have withdrawn their super, but not by as much as you might expect, Mr. Coates said. The median worker earning around $60,000, who takes out $20,000 in super at the age of 35, would replace 88% of their pre-retirement income if compulsory super stays at 9.5%, still well above the 70% benchmark used by the OECD and others. The Reserve Bank of Australia is already forecasting lower growth in wages next year when the first incremental rise occurs. Early release of superannuation was implemented in April as a financial support measure for people who had become unemployed or experienced a reduction in working hours. It allowed someone to withdraw up to $10,000 in both 2020 and 2021 financial years. Treasury expects total withdrawals to sap $42 billion from the retirement pool by Christmas. More than $30 billion has already been drained from the sector from nearly 4 million requests. I mean, that just shows you the confidence people have in super. And I know some of the viewers have got your self-managed super fund and have got them all set up, but a lot of people can't. They either don't have the money in their super to even warrant that, or they don't have the time to manage it, or they'd rather just have their own money and buy some necessities for life, or maybe pay a huge chunk off that mortgage around their back. What do you all think, guys? Do you think this super increase will be a cost to wage growth? Do you think super is the best advantage in the world, or would you rather they just get rid of it, and allow competition there? Allow these funds, make them actually work for their contributions, provide service for people to actually encourage them to do saving on their own, and not have the state take care of us. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support this channel, there are a few ways you can. Simply commenting and interacting is a great way to help the channel grow. You can support the channel financially by joining us on YouTube or Patreon, using any of our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin, buying our merch from HeiseSays, using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or supporting us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. I'll see you all in the next episode.